Well, right on cue, it looks like this is the start of the protest, so let's go out here on the street and see what is happening. Looks to me like I should be following this group of people to get out the central location where the protest starts. Three things to remember in covering a protest which could turn violent. Number one, travel light with your camera equipment. Number two is be polite but aggressive in getting the shot you want or need. Number three is be aware of what's going on around you and try to anticipate what may be going on around you. This is where the national protest will commence at the Plaza de Cibeles. It will then go up the Grand V and terminate about 3 to 3.5 hours later at the Puerta del Sol. Right now it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The chirping you are hearing is the crosswalk sensors. To give you some context and history of what is going on here, as with the rest of the world, this protest here in Madrid is part of the Global Day of Protest, which is October 15th. You're going to see tens of thousands of people marching in protest to the Spanish government's cutbacks, the key social services, the high unemployment rate, the institutionalized financial service sector's greed, and a multifarious group of other types of causes. The protest is really an outgrowth of the indignant movement, which was started right here in Madrid, Spain this spring, and then ultimately spread to the Wall Street protests. One of the things you have to realize about Spain, and one of the reasons I am here as part of my research, is that the Spanish economy is in the dumps. Unemployment is about 20%. Professionals and PhDs are begging for work, as opposed to the old days when Brits were bidding up property prices in the Costa del Sol. Values have plummeted. Spanish banks are shaky. The Spanish government has to cover a gaping budget deficit, and S&P recently downgraded the country's long-term debt. Because of this bad economy in a short number of years, many of Spain's middle class are experiencing a lower standard of living or are being wiped out by an economy which is going south because of excessive public and private debt. Cutbacks are being made in healthcare, education, pensions, and the financial service sector is still receiving special treatment which saps the public's resources. One thing that strikes me about the participants in this protest is that they appear to all come from different walks of life, and practically all look well dressed like middle-class suburbanites from the U.S.
Pero te digo que hemos venido pronto. Dale un poquito, ahí. As with Spain, it might not be far down the road when you will also see tens of thousands of your fellow middle-class Americans marching because they too are indignant about the high unemployment rate and the government's excessive use of public funds to bolster a failing but politically powerful financial services industry.
Y el González del BMW que le metió fuego al edificio Wilson para cobrar un seguro. Corredor de bolsa. Ese también tiene que ir a la cárcel. Y Zapatilla tiene que...